Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. We're also streaming to you live on yorbamedia.com and broadcasting to you from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel Studios. All right, my next guest is John Linderman, CEO, TriStar Wellness Solution. And this is a whole nother breakthrough company. These people are targeting opportunities in both professional and the consumer marketplace. Let me stop for a second. Symbol on this is TWSI. And this company is building their strategic product platforms in women's health, wound care, and therapeutic skin care. So the technologies of the products coming from this healthcare market are highly effective and economically competitive. So Elise is working diligently to try and get John Linderman on the phone, and hopefully she can find the proper numbers and bring him on. Oh, look, I see her talking to somebody. We'll see if we can get him on the line here in just a second. But you might want to take a look at this company because they have got some remarkable medicines that are being distributed throughout the military as well as the private sector. John, welcome to the show.
Oh, hi, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right. I'm glad to have you here. I gave just a little bit of a bio on you and your company, but I would like if you could embellish the leadership skills you bring to the table and then talk to us about your company. We'll get into harnessing the potential of a perfect storm in just a second.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'll save you from the long version, but in a snapshot, started out in the classic marketing role with large packaged goods companies, learning the basics of brand and marketing. And then about over 20 years ago, went into the consulting business. Had the fortune of joining in that business with my business partner, Jamie Barrickman. And for the last 20 years, we've been consulting for large companies, Fortune 50, Fortune 100 companies, in the area of innovation. So what we basically would do would be help companies find technologies or ways to leverage their brand or ways to bring their brands to new or different markets, all supporting the driving growth for those companies. And we did that for a fair amount of time and then realized that we actually had started to come across some very interesting dynamics in the industry, which leads to that perfect storm theme that we thought we could take better advantage of if we actually created our own company. So while the economics going back a couple of years might have not been that strong, we decided to jump out of the consulting business, move into classic manufacturing and packaging and marketing business that's called TriStar Wellness Solutions.
Okay, tell us.
So we bring with us a lot of experience in helping build brands, helping find technologies, and helping understand how you actually can bring those technologies to the retail and professional markets.
Okay, I'm on your website. It says brands, and you've got some products that you work with. So let's open that up for a minute so that everybody can get a flavor for the type of products that you bring to market.
So we focused in three spaces, and I'll tie back the reason for those three spaces as we continue the discussion. But the first space that we focused on is wound care, and wound care from both a consumer perspective or over the counter, as well as a professional perspective. And in wound care, if you think about the Band-Aid or the bandage, it hasn't fundamentally changed over the last 150 years that it's been available to consumers. Yet the technologies exist in the market to dramatically improve the quality of life for people that suffer, or are dealing with over-the-counter wounds and cuts and bleeding. So what we did was realize there's a market need in that space, and then we actually purchased a company called Hemcon, which was a leader in developing I started out in the military, actually in the battlefield, for fundamentally saving soldiers' lives through the ability to control bleeding from very traumatic wounds that they receive in the battlefield. We saw that company, saw that technology, and realized that we could apply that in the over-the-counter space, which led to the acquisition of that brand. We also have a focus on women's health. Now, women's health is a very interesting one, specifically in the U.S., because there are cultural things that are changing. There are technologies that are starting to emerge that really enable women's health. So if you went back 25, 30 years, the proactive management of women's conditions was somewhat reserved. due to either the cultural or religious or trends at the time. And if you look at where that market is today, you see the women actually being very proactive in what their needs are, and now forcing companies to bring those types of products to solve those needs to the market. So we very much focused on women's health, and then to bring that to life, we acquired a brand called Bouteille de Maman, which is a line of products for pregnant and nursing women. And we started there because we found it an untapped market. So, for example, if you're pregnant and you go to your OB-GYN, one of the first things they tell you is you need to watch out for the types of products that you use. So you need to watch out for parabens and other ingredients that, well, in the normal lifestyle are safe products or safe ingredients to use. When you're pregnant, they're not. And so the consumers needed to find a way to find products that they could use to manage their normal hygiene without putting their unborn child at risk. And if you go in the market, you wouldn't see any lines of products for that. So we used that as a leverage point to say, now there is an interesting space. There's a consumer that has a very pronounced need that we can then find technologies and products to bring to them. So if you're pregnant and you're dealing with morning sickness, or you're dealing with an acne, or you're dealing with stretch marks, here are products that they can trust that meet those needs without having to feel like they have to read every ingredient on the label to make sure that it's one of those that they're all safe.
Where are you on
the third
being?
Space that,
Okay, go ahead. I'll wait. I'll save my questions till the third one.
Okay, third space is in therapeutic skincare, which is another segment of products where enabling technologies, very importantly, can transform how people can manage the specific needs they might have in that space. So I'm sorry I cut you off before.
That's okay. Go ahead and fill us in on the third item here.
Okay, so for skincare, the category is very vibrant. It's always been a very large, very profitable, growing category, and it's kind of like with a pill and a prayer. Will this product actually help me with my specific skin conditions? What we found was, by going back and focusing on the delivery vehicles for how ingredients are provided to the skin so that you get better absorptive capabilities or better therapeutic results, we can now come back with products that have more specific benefits and results for women in many cases that are currently not on the market.
That's where I was going. I was wondering, it seems to me the way you're describing this, that whether it's Himcon or it's Bouteille de Maman, is that what you pronounce it?
Maman, that's yeah.
Maman. It seems to me that you're first to market on this, and I don't get the sense, because I'm just trying to read between the lines here, but I don't get the sense there's a lot of competition around you ready to try and duplicate, catch, or emulate what you're doing.
Well, that's a very important part of our business model. Going back to our consulting experience, we worked with these large companies, and we know how they think.
Right.
And we know what their marketing engines are like, and we target spaces that aren't really fit for them. So, for example, in the pregnancy space, a conventional packaged goods marketer would develop a model that says, let's buy trial, let's spend a lot of money getting women to try these products. And then let's plan on a long tail of repeat where they buy the products over their life. And that profit stream on that tail repeat is very important to their basic business model. Now, when you think about pregnancy, you have 9 months. They come in, they're pregnant, they move out, they move back to their conventional products that they use. As a result, it didn't fit the model. And then on top of that, for the large marketing companies, they often have hurdle rates in terms of how large is this market. And if it can't be a $200 million market, it's really not appropriate for their level of investment. Well, here you have a market with pregnancy where you have 4 million women that are passionate about their condition and are seeking solutions. Yet, when you add those 4 million women up, you see a $50 to $70 million market that's very profitable, but not enough to get on the hurdle rate for the big companies. So what that allows us to do is to know where we can find unmet needs, align it with a path to market that doesn't require us to fight with the big gorillas in the space, and then actually find technologies that deliver proven results for those consumers in those conditions.
John, let me interrupt you right now. We need to go to a commercial break, but I want to cover a lot more about your company on the other side of this break, all right?
Great.
All right, we'll be right back with John Linderman, CEO, TriStar Wellness Solution. Symbol is TWSI and TSTAR Wellness.com. We'll be right back. Special thanks to Monk Media and 1-800 Public Relations for all their PR and media support.